Hey guys, Maywet here. I know it's been a few months, but I thought I'd share a funny story of trolling my superiors on my mission. At the time of the story, I was in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and my leaders, who were in charge of me, the other missionaries in Grand Forks, the missionaries in Fargo, as well as some surrounding areas, were in Fargo. Now, once every 6 weeks, you do what's called an exchange with your leaders. It's where you basically trade companions for about a day. So I went up to Fargo with one of the zone leaders, who we will call Elder Louis, as well as a missionary he was training, who we will call Elder Abbott. Now, at the time, most of the missionaries, myself included, were pretty new. So Elder Louis had made a document called Plan My Gospel to help us with our daily and weekly planning. It was a detailed guide that he had previously sent out to everyone in the Fargo and Grand Forks areas. The missionaries in Grand Forks, however, hated it for the most part. And they did have some valid concerns, so on the exchange I brought those up with Elder Louis. And after talking for a bit, we went to the church that Elder Louis could update the document on the computer. So Elder Louis does his updates, and at this point it's about 8 p.m. So two other sets of missionaries arrive at the church because they served in the same area as the zone leaders, and they had a weekly meeting between them to coordinate, who does what in the area. And so when they got there, Elder Louis prints off a copy of his document and starts going over it with them. And at this point, I was kind of bored because we basically talked about the document already for a long time. And so, as you all know, when I get bored, that's when I cause trouble. Elder Louis still had the document open on the computer, and me, being a dignified servant of the Lord, of course, I type the word poop on a random spot and then quickly scroll up so that he won't see it. And when the meeting was over at around 9, Elder Louis printed off two more copies of the document and took one of the newly printed copies for himself and gave the other two copies to the other sets of missionaries. We go back to the apartment, and since I'm tired, I go straight to bed. Elder Louis goes to his desk and reads the document in the living room, and Elder Abbott goes and does whatever. About 45 minutes later, as I'm about to fall asleep, I suddenly hear Elder Louis shout, "Elder Maywet, you pile!" And pile was an insult on our mission that meant anything from lazy to disobedient to whatever you wanted it to mean. Half asleep, I stumble into the living room and, completely forgetting what I had done earlier, I ask in a flat tone, "What'd I do?" Elder Louis has the document on his lap and is glaring at me, so I walk over to him, and Elder Abbott, hearing the commotion, also walks over. And Elder Louis then points angrily at the poop on the document and looks up at me. Elder Abbott and I burst out laughing, and then I said, "What can I say, Elder? I'm from Grand Forks. It's my job to poop on Plan My Gospel." Elder Louis tried not to laugh at the pun, but he couldn't help but crack a smile. He asked me when I did that, and I told him I did it after he printed off one copy, but before he printed off the other two. Since it was late and the copies were already printed and distributed, there was nothing he could really do, so we all went to bed. Now, you think that the story would end here, but it actually gets a lot better. You see, the next day was district meeting, which meant all the missionaries from Fargo and the surrounding areas had to come to the church for a meeting. Everyone had arrived early, and since there were four sets of missionaries there that weren't there the night before, Elder Louis printed off four more copies of his document and handed them out, completely forgetting what I had done the night before. So he starts talking to my previous companion, who I'll call Elder Cars, about the changes. I go up to them and say, "Hey, Elder Cars and I were companions last transfer, and we did some stuff with this document. So how about I explain the changes to him?" And Elder Louis is like, "Okay, yeah, sure, that sounds good." And he goes and talks with someone else. So I turn to Elder Cars and say, "So we changed this, and point at the poop." Elder Cars starts quietly laughing in order not to attract Elder Louis' attention. However, he has a very contagious laugh, so seeing him laugh makes me laugh. Elder Louis turns and sees us laughing, and he asks Elder Cars what's so funny. Then he turns and sees me laughing and gets that look of remembrance on his face and freezes for a second. He then shouts, "Elder Maywet, you pile!" And then he went around the room grabbing all the copies of the document back and aggressively scribbling out the poop on them with his pen. When he got to Elder Cars, however, Elder Cars refused to give back his copy and said, "Oh no, I'm keeping this." And so when Elder Louis was done, it was time for the meeting to start. As everyone went to the meeting, however, I sneakily took Elder Carr's copy and swapped it with the copy Elder Louis gave to one of the sister missionaries that he had a crush on. So that's my story for today. It's certainly not the only one that involves me being immature on my mission, but it's one of my favorites. Tell me what you thought of it below, and please like, share, and subscribe for more.